It is August, and you know what that means. But let's talk about it. And then I've got two things to give you today. August is the month I celebrate my birthday. And as a result of a lot of years of celebrating birthdays in various ways, I've learned to celebrate a little differently the last couple of years. Namely, August is a month where giving becomes a priority. And we normally focus on giving just at a different time of year, right? Around the holidays, the end of the year, that's when we prioritize giving. We think about our taxes, we think about charity, we think about donations, we think about toys for tots. And yet we have opportunities all year round to give. And August is a great time for me, and hopefully for you too, as this reminder meets you, to think about giving a little differently. Each year I spend condensed 24 hours really reflecting. It's not easy to reflect when there's a lot happening, and to slow down and to put up the boundaries that say, hey, everything else can wait. This is a priority. But today I want to give you the 5 questions that I ask when I find that moment for reflection. And I do it every year. I do this more than just once a year, I promise you, but the birthday marks a particular milestone. I think that birthdays can be also overrated. At the same time, they provide a great milestone, a checkpoint for us to ask some meaningful questions. And these questions help me as I grow and as I change and as I evolve to make sure I'm on track with who I want to be and how I want to show up for others. The first thing I ask myself is, where am I right now? In all of our work, if you've downloaded any of our tools over the last several newsletters, you know that we track things in 4 categories. We look at our career, anything related to money and business, to our finances, anything in that category goes in career. Our circle, the people we spend time with, our peers, our family, our friends. Next is time, the way we use our minutes. And then fourth, we have our health, our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health. Those 4 categories is where I like to answer the question, where am I? And one of our best exercises called location and destination is all about answering that question. It's very hard to grow when you don't know where you are, right? Every GPS needs to know where you are if it's going to track you down and give you directions to your destination. So that's a great place to start. And this is a great time of year for me, hopefully for you too, to stop, pause, and reflect on that question. The second question is a really important one. What are my wins in the last quarter, in the last 60 days, 90 days, whatever period I'm assessing? I'm going to look at the last year. What are some big wins that I've had? What are some small wins? Whether they're wins in business or wins in what we would categorize as, personal life, or they're just wins in how I've grown and how I've evolved. I think that asking that question of ourselves is a really important one. And we often don't celebrate our wins. So if you go through this exercise with me, and I'd encourage you to do that, I want you to take time to celebrate your wins. It's really important to do that. The third question, what are my desired wins? What are the wins I am looking to get out of the next period of time, maybe the next year? Again, on birthday, I use the time block of the year. So what are the wins I want this next year? And that question tends to open up a lot of really interesting creativity if you let it happen. And if you give yourself the space to unwind and uncoil from all your obligations and the dings and buzzes and burrs of fires that need to be put out, you can often find tremendously unique answers, unique to you, your circumstances, your growth, and your journey. So that's a really, really powerful question. Then another flip on the same dialogue, where will I be in a year? Where will I be in each of those 4 categories? Again, career, circle, time, and health. Thinking about where you want to be is different than what are the wins, because they may be distinct in their own beautiful ways. Tracking them and writing them and exploring them can be a really powerful exercise. And then last but not least, where will I be in 3 years? I think that 5-year goals can be a lot. There's just so much change that can happen in 5 years. So I like to look at 3-year horizons. And 3 years is often enough time to go for something really, really big and scary, and simultaneously close enough where we can feel proximal to it. We can feel close to it. So I really, really love that framework. Those 5 questions are part of my reflection every year. As I think more and more about giving in the month of August, I have learned to ask some different questions. What does giving look like? What can giving look like? I always aspire to be wealthy. And a lot of times we build our engines, we build our careers, our enterprises so that we can create wealth and create freedom for ourselves. But along the way, we sometimes forget that availability of certain opportunities is right now. It's not in the future. And this idea created an exercise for us called wealth without waiting. The idea being that that if we can imagine what wealth might create for us, we can do some of that. We can begin some of that today. In my idealized version of wealth, there was plenty of philanthropy and giving and time and charity and volunteering that was present in my day-to-day. And while there's still lots to build and certainly a high demand on me as the business grows and expands and get out of your own way becomes so much more than it already is, it's important for me to remember that some of those things that I aspired to, I can do today. And in the spirit of giving, there's a couple of different things that I want to share with you. Number one, if you're here in Arizona or you're feeling like travel is something you want to do, I'm hosting an event on August 24th. It's a Thursday evening. It's the day of my actual birthday, where I'll bring everyone in my network that can be here, at least everyone that can be local and here in my network, together. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's the one thing I like to give community, to give space and time, and to say, hey, Dave, I want you to meet Kendra. Hey, Roger, I'd love you to meet Carlos. To be able to pull people together is one of my favorite things. And the best thing I can do is provide the space to do that. So if you're local to Arizona, or again, you'd like to travel in, I'd love to host you. We'll be at the Andaz, an amazing resort here in Scottsdale. It's about 15 minutes from the airport. It's a tremendous enclave of serenity for me. I have celebrated many times there and really, really love it. It's a sanctuary for reflection, and we'll be hosting a little dinner, more of a networking space. I wouldn't call it dinner. There will be some hors d'oeuvres. We will provide everything that you need to be there and be in high spirits, and we'll just invite you to come out. It's from 6 to 8, again, at the Andaz here in Scottsdale on August 24th. If you'd like to be a part of that, make sure you RSVP. There's some details below so that you can let us know you're coming. We need to prepare. Let's just put it that way. I can't tell you why. I can just tell you that we need to prepare. The second thing, for those of you that have known me for a long time or are just getting to learn about get out of your own way, one of the most pivotal parts of growth in my career has been learning how to travel the world for free. I learned how to do this back when I was just leaving my corporate job. I didn't have the funds to travel the world, but I finally had the time. And my brother and I explored this idea of travel hacking, where you use credit cards and the money that you're spending and run it through credit cards as you normally would, but you're really intentional, and it creates this almost passive income that allows you to travel. So over the course of about 9 or 10 years, I've probably traveled 150 plus legs, generating about 145 grand of free travel. That's a lot of travel, and most people don't play travel hacking at the level that I do. However, I built a course around this because I started getting a lot of attention around, how do you do that? And it's been one of my favorite things to share over the course of, I think the course is about 5 years old. So over the course of 5 years, I've taught travel hacking to over 4,000 people. And there are many, many dozens of individuals that still share with me like, hey, I got a free flight. Hey, I went to visit my family and it was totally free. I took my family away and we got to go on an adventure. Hey, I got to go see my brother. All of these different exciting things have really just meant a lot to me. As part of the celebration and in the spirit of giving, I'd like to offer you access to the travel hacking course for what the flight cost is. So when you book a flight on points, it's about $5.60 for each leg that you fly. And there's nothing better. I promise you, there's nothing better than getting a flight for $11. It is so cool and it's so rewarding. It changes the way you see the world. The world becomes much more accessible. You can say yes to opportunities to visit a friend for a day, even if you fly in the morning and land back home in the evening, because it's only $11. And if you're serious about traveling, if you're serious about seeing the world more, you can certainly involve international travel. I've done that many, many times. Taxes are a little different when you travel international. But if travel is a part of a passion of yours, maybe it's a part of the way that you connect with people far away from you. Maybe it's just a way for you to check off a big bucket list item to see different places or venues or visit all the theme parks in the US. Who knows? Whatever it is, I'd like to invite you to get access to travel hacking for $11. Spend a lot of time building the course. It's really meaningful. It will teach you everything you need to know to get started. We do offer some bigger things around the world of travel hacking. That is not for right now. That course will teach you everything you need to know to get started. It'll give you the framework for how to walk away with $500, $600 pretty quick. You'll understand how to do that within the first hour of the course. And afterwards, you can certainly use it to do that process over and over and over and over again. So for $11, I'd like to invite you to the travel hacking course. You'll find the link directly below this video. And I invite you to use it. Tell me how it helped you, to tell me where you'd like to go. All of those things mean a lot. If you can join the August 24th event, great. If you want to take travel hacking, great. More importantly, I'd like you to take some time to reflect on those questions I gave you. Where am I right now? What are the wins in the last year? What are my ahead wins for the next year? Where will I be in a year? And then where will I be be in 3 years. And just taking the time to reflect on that can be a really powerful thing. Taking time to find your sanctuary, find your solitude, and ground a little bit and just pause. August has always been that pause for me. In the rush that is do everything you possibly can in the summer before it's taken away from you. And being here in Arizona, it's a little different. Summer is hot, yes, but all year round it's amazing weather. So it's changed my dynamic of what the month is. And August is always about altruism, about offering, and about reconnecting with who I am. I hope that this serves as a great reminder for you to reconnect with who you are, that you are thinking about the things that you can offer to people, to the world, because in many ways, our growth, people in this community, the pursuit that we have can often rub off on others very, very easily. It becomes easier and easier to give, not harder and harder, as long as you're intentional. I hope you have a great rest of the month. Thank you so much for following along and seeing as we grow and change. If you're interested in one of our retreats, we've got the next retreat in October. Spots are filling up. We have about 5 spots left at this point, and we've got one booking out in January. I'll tell you this because I'm really excited about it. In January, we're going to have one of our standard retreats. So 12 people, Scottsdale. It's going to be amazing. The dates there are the 11th to the 14th. However, we are also launching a very special VIP event in January. There are 3 spaces. 2 are already sold before we even announced it. But the space that's open, the VIP event, 3 people only, private Airbnb, luxury dinners, adventures. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Some deep dives, some health and wellness initiatives. It's going to be spectacular. If you'd like information about any of those retreats, please send us an email. We'd be happy to get you all the deets. It's going to be a lot of fun. Take this month to be intentional, and we will see you very, very soon.